I'm sitting down with Rajamannar, the Chief Marketing Officer of Mastercard, and we're going to talk about some of the biggest topics facing CMOs and the marketing industry today. Raja, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you very much. And I'm also very happy you pronounced my name exactly the right way. Thank you.
We're all doing our best. And, after 48 hours in Vegas, it takes its toll on you, but I'm glad.
It activates different parts of the brain. Good.
Exactly. Well, let's dive right in. CMO tenure. Now, you've been at Mastercard for many years, but by latest reports and indications, the average CMO tenure can range from 25 to 40 months, right? Which is not a lot of time when you think about it. You come in, you learn the business, you do your agency reviews, you bring in your team, and then 18 months, 2 years have passed. And there seems to be a disconnect in the industry, whether it's the expectations or how CMOs are set up. Why is this a problem? What's going on, and what can we do to address it?
So a few things. Firstly, it's an unfortunate reality that the length of the CMO tenure has actually been coming down. And it is quite counterproductive, I would say, because when you're in an organization, it'll take you a while to understand the soul of your company, to figure out the levers in your company. And by the time you have figured out all this and you start actually delivering results, if you leave the company or if you're asked to leave the company, that's a definite loss to the company. And what's happening is, because the whole field of marketing is becoming so competitive, the CEOs and the CFOs of companies are very demanding of the explanations from the CMOs about the marketing investment and what is actually giving in return. Not just the ROI of the marketing dollars, but also to help connect the dots between the marketing investments and the business outcomes. Many of the CMOs have come from the qualitative side of the house. Historically, if you see, they are very good at psychology, sociology, anthropology, and design, and areas which are relatively softer but critical for good marketing to be done. Now, when you put those folks in a high-tech environment or a technology-driven environment, which marketing has become, and marketing has become very quantitative with data-drivenness, they are finding themselves a little out of water. That's one part of it. Second, when the CEO asks a question, saying that, okay, we have given you $100 million. What exactly did you deliver? Show me the proof of performance. You can show performance marketing, but brand results are much more difficult to establish and show the returns on investment. Because of that, what happens is the CMOs who are not data trained and tech trained, they look at the CEO like a deer caught in headlights. That erodes the credibility. And that starts actually in a situation where the CEO loses confidence in the CMO. And then even if it is a very good CMO, because the CMOs are not able to talk the language of the business and to connect the dots between marketing and the business, they're being let go, or they're doing so well and other companies are actually very anxious to hire the best of the CMOs, they get hired away. So this is what is driving the lower and lesser tenure. And what can be done, I would say, are two things. Firstly, CMOs have to really train themselves, if they have not already trained or been trained before, to understand the business in number terms. Not just in understanding conceptually what the business is, but to understand exactly how does the business make money. And in a safe environment, maybe they should reach out to some finance people outside the company, or maybe some professors or to some seasoned CMOs and say, hey, help me understand, and ask for being taught how their business actually runs. And also in many cases, I advise my team members, go to your CFO counterpart and say, hey, can you explain to me how do we make as a company money? Where do we make money? How do we make money? And what do you think marketing should do? You will get tremendous amount of insights. When you are able to do that, your credibility as a CMO or as a marketer for that matter really increases in any given company. So this is the first thing. Second, I think also, at least the associations such as the ANA have to start doing an outreach to the CEOs and to educate them, both the CEOs and the CFOs, saying that, look, this is what marketing is. This is why it is critical for your company's future. And this is how some of the successful companies have demonstrated how marketing is really doing a fantastic job. And this is within your reach if only you give a chance to your marketing team and to your CMO. I think it needs to be a concerted effort. And otherwise, right now, it's a little bit like an existential threat for many CMOs and for many marketing departments.
And I think really that's a lot of it what comes down to navigating that conversation between CMO and CEO. And something we've talked about a lot with our community is that management up, right? And navigating the conversations first with your CFO, and so you understand your fellow C-suite, right? But also the conversations with the CEO and the board to demonstrate that marketing is not just a cost center, but a profit driver.
Absolutely.
So do you have any advice for other CMOs in how to make that case and show, no, we're not just taking your money, but we're making the money?
I would like to share the example of what we did at Mastercard and how it worked, right? So when I first came into the company, probably there was a healthy skepticism as to whether marketing is really driving results and whether those investments that were being made in marketing were truly necessary. And so there was a little bit of tentativeness and a big suspicion, so to speak, or skepticism more than suspicion. So one of the first things I did at that time was to reach out to my CFO of the company and say that, look, why don't we have a CFO for marketing? Who will be residing in marketing? Who will report into me and to the finance counterpart, which is our organization? And let this person be the single source of truth. Because what happens is if marketing is self-reporting and saying, oh, our ROI is 8,000%, it's like, the credibility is a little lesser. But if you have a finance person actually giving out these facts, there is a different level of credibility. So I had my first CFO actually hired then, Ellen Stibler. So she was in the role. That changed the dynamic in terms of the relationship between the CFO and the CMO. That's the step number one. Number two, typically because marketers are not able to justify this ROIs, they tend to be a little secretive and not let in the other C-suite executives come in. What I found is when you start involving your C-suite colleagues into your activities of marketing, firstly, they find it pretty fascinating. Secondly, they will also realize how difficult your job is. And they will have a newfound appreciation for what you're accomplishing because they now have a better understanding of the challenges that you have to deal with at the ground level. Because some of the CFOs in other companies, I have heard them say that, oh, what's the big deal? All you have to do is give a brief to the agency and the agency will give the ad. So what is my CMO or my marketing department doing? Nothing. That is a sad state of perception. That's not how it has to be. So the key thing is reach out, involve them into your business, which is into the business of marketing. And that, I think, is number two, build the bridges. Number three, unless you have a good equation with your CEO, it's not going to work. At the end of the day, the sentiment about marketing, because it's a huge investment typically in most companies, it flows from the CEO. So invest time and effort to educate the CEO if they are not from the marketing background, and most of the people are not from the marketing background. So you have to educate them. And secondly, be very transparent. Don't only share successes, share your challenges, share your failures, and tell what you have learned from them and how you're going to actually make sure they will not be repeated. They will really respect your transparency as opposed to constantly broadcasting the good news. And over a period of time, they even suspect whether these good news are even real or even are the material. So that's one thing which is very critical. So I keep calling it as marketing. When you need to know how to marketing. Now, this is something which is going to be very important, and the CMOs have to be evangelists for the function. It's not an easy journey, and it's not an overnight journey either, but it is something they have to do it for the good of their function and for the good of their team members. And for the good of the company, frankly.
Absolutely. And I want to build on this because I think the other part of the equation is right? We're talking about managing up, building those bridges and the relationships within the C-suite. But then arguably the biggest function of the CMO is to build their team, their marketing organization and the team, right? So more than necessarily briefing the agencies or talking to the board, it's how do I hire the best people? And as a marketer in today's landscape, there are so many things that you have to account for. New specialties, new disciplines and areas of expertise, new technologies, new tools, new apps. Every day there's something new to think about. So do you have an approach or a philosophy when it comes to building that organization that lets you feel confident you're getting the best people and you're setting them up for success?
See, I think part of the answer is in your question itself, which is to get the best people, right? When you surround yourself with people who are incredibly talented, that makes your life easy and the results will be there, right? You need a team which is incredibly capable. You need a team which has got diverse points of view and diverse capabilities as well. So if you have everyone only qualitative type of marketing, it would not going to work. You need to have people who understand numbers. You need to have people who understand the marketing technology stacks. You need to have people who understand data. You need to know. So you need to really have people. I actually keep talking about it as the Leonardo da Vinci team. So Leonardo da Vinci is one of those rare guys who is very, very good at his right brain thinking and left brain thinking too. He was an artist and an engineer and so on. It's very difficult to hire a Leonardo da Vinci. So what you can do the next best is build a team which works like Leonardo da Vinci. You have people from the right brain, you have people from the left brain, and you have people who integrate both sides of the brain. That can work incredibly powerfully. Now, when you have the team, then the second one is in terms of having a big vision. Many of the times what happens is most of the companies get boxed into performance marketing. And that is like running on the treadmill constantly. You as the leader have to think about how do you break out of that treadmill, think big, think futuristic, and be an inspiration for the team, which means you have to lead from the front. I'll give you one example. Given how dramatically the entire environment is changing right now, with about 24 very powerful technologies like artificial intelligence and wearables, Internet of Things, blockchains, all these things coming at us like a real tsunami, the field of marketing is going to totally get disrupted. I call it the fifth paradigm of marketing. And in this fifth paradigm, you will not be able to survive and succeed with today's skills. You need to upgrade your skills. You need to invest time to learn. And I keep telling my team, if you don't learn, you'll become obsolete. Now, it's easy for me to pontificate and say, you should go and you should learn. But what I try to do is, I try to learn myself. I invest time and effort. I read books. I attend training programs, and I reach out to my colleagues who are, like, for example, when I got into the frame of trying to learn about artificial intelligence about 4 years back, I thought the best thing is to go to the head of artificial intelligence at Mastercard. And I told him, saying that you be my teacher on this, and I want you to really make me reasonably good at AI. So he spent countless hours with me to educate me on that. I did programs, online courses on artificial intelligence. God knows how many books I have read on artificial intelligence. So I become very comfortable. So what happens in this whole thing is, at least I have some basis to ask my team to also start learning, because I know I'm investing time and effort. And if I can do it at my stage in life and at my age, you youngsters have to better do it for your own good, which in turn benefits the company quite a lot. So this is how that learning part of it. The third is you need to have people on the team who really think of simplifying the processes and make it easy, right? Every company has its own quota of friction in different ways. So one of the key roles for the CMO and for the senior leadership under the CMO is to remove those friction points. Make sure that the processes that we have got are well in place, that are efficient and effective, etc. So I think it's a concerted 360 effort that every CMO has to put together with his or her leadership team and build the bridges across the aisle, so to speak, with the other C-suite executives and with the boss, which is the CEO, and with the board of directors. So I think it's very important.
And the recurring theme that I'm hearing, not just from you, from other folks that we've been talking to today, is always be learning.
Yeah.
Right? You got to always be curious. You got to always be hungry, no matter whether you're an entry level or a CMO, right? You've always got to be with the state of change. So, it's the beginning of 2023. we're thinking a lot about planning for the year. Challenges and opportunities. So from an opportunity standpoint, are there any trends that you're thinking about that may not necessarily affect your work tomorrow, but something that you're paying attention to? Obviously, we're here at CES. You just listed all of these new technologies. What's exciting to you that you're keeping your eye on?
So when I look at the opportunities that are ahead, I see two big ones. The first is AI. AI makes every part of the marketing ecosystem incredibly more effective, incredibly more efficient. And at Mastercard, we have started deploying it in every aspect of what we are doing in the marketing value chain. I think that's going to be at an accelerated pace in 2023 and beyond. So that's the first big opportunity. The second big opportunity is automation. Now, automation is something which has been around for a while, but you'll be surprised at the level of evolution on the B2B side as well as on the B2C side. And that's something which is the marketers have to focus on. A combination of AI and automation is going to dramatically alter the way marketing functions actually perform in their respective companies. The challenges are two. Number one, with a little bit of uncertainty looming over the horizon, many of the CEOs and CFOs are very hesitant to commit fully, saying that this is the amount of money that you go with. At the same time, they're hesitant to cut the money either because they don't know if the actual economy is going down, going up. You don't want to be caught with underinvesting and be underprepared for those kind of scenarios. So the most important thing I would look at it in this is have multiple scenarios right now. If there is going to be intense recession for a short time, what will you do? What is going to be your plan? If it is going to be mild recession but prolonged, what will be your contingency plan? If it is severe recession, it's going to be long drawn, God forbidding, what will be your contingency plan? So you need to really look at that. That's one challenge. The second challenge is talent. Right now, a lot of technology talent has suddenly become available in the past few months with the massive layoffs happening in the technology industry. But that's not true for marketing. So getting top-notch, high-quality marketing talent is still a huge challenge at this point in time. And to train them, upgrade their skills, keep them inspired, and retain them in the company is a huge challenge. So that is something which is staring us in the face, and we have to really think about how to tackle through those situations. So those I would say, are the opportunities and the challenges ahead for 2023 and beyond.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight and your thoughts with me and with our community. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you, David. I appreciate having me.
Of course. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
We'll hope to
Thank
have you
so
again
much.
soon.